Consumer Reports just dropped a bombshell list for 2026, and if you're planning to buy a car you won't regret 5, 10, or even 15 years from now, this is the list you need to see. These aren't flashy hype machines or risky first-year redesigns. These are the vehicles Consumer Reports says deliver real-world reliability, low ownership stress, and proven engineering. Cars that start every morning, don't drain your wallet, and quietly outlast the competition while everyone else deals with recalls and repair bills. Let's start with the 2026 Toyota Corolla, a car that has basically become the global definition of reliability. Consumer Reports once again ranks it at the very top, and it's no surprise. Toyota's proven 2.0-liter engine continues to show minimal issues year after year, delivering excellent fuel economy at around 35 mpg combined, while keeping maintenance and repair costs among the lowest in the industry. This is the kind of car that just works, whether you're a commuter, a first-time buyer, or a family that values peace of mind over gimmicks. Right alongside it is the 2026 Toyota Camry Hybrid, which Consumer Reports calls one of the most bulletproof hybrids on the road. With over 50 mpg combined, this car doesn't just save you money at the pump, it saves you money long term. Toyota's hybrid battery longevity is legendary at this point, with many owners reporting hundreds of thousands of miles with minimal issues. Add in a smooth ride, strong resale value, and proven engineering, and you get a sedan that's nearly impossible to regret owning. If you want luxury without the usual luxury headaches, the 2026 Lexus RX 350h stands out as one of the most reliable luxury SUVs Consumer Reports has ever tested. Its hybrid powertrain means fewer mechanical failures compared to traditional setups, while the quiet cabin and premium interior deliver true Lexus comfort. Long-term ownership data shows extremely low issue rates, making this one of the safest bets for buyers who want refinement without constant service visits. The 2026 Toyota RAV4 Hybrid continues to dominate as one of Consumer Reports' safest SUV bets year after year. Its hybrid system reduces wear on both the engine and brakes, which directly translates to fewer repairs down the road. The AWD system has proven extremely reliable, resale value remains strong, and depreciation stays low. For buyers who want an SUV that simply refuses to become a problem, this is one of the smartest choices on the market. Then there's the 2026 Honda Accord, a sedan with a reputation for going well beyond 200,000 miles when properly maintained. Consumer Reports highlights its reliable turbocharged engine, spacious interior, and excellent safety scores. Ownership costs remain low over time, and this is exactly the kind of car people buy, keep for a decade, and then say, "I'd buy it again without hesitation." For families who want efficiency without jumping fully into EV territory, the 2026 Honda CR-V Hybrid hits the sweet spot. Consumer Reports consistently praises its combination of safety and reliability, and the hybrid drivetrain has already proven itself across multiple model years. With generous cargo space, a comfortable ride, and no charging anxiety, it's one of the most practical family vehicles you can buy in 2026. Mazda continues to quietly build some of the most dependable vehicles on the road, and the 2026 Mazda CX-5 is a perfect example. Its naturally aspirated engine avoids the stress and complexity of aggressive turbo setups, leading to fewer failures over time. The interior quality rivals much more expensive luxury brands, crash test scores are excellent, and Consumer Reports ranks it as one of the most dependable compact SUVs you can own. The 2026 Mazda 3 proves that reliability doesn't have to be expensive. With a simple, proven powertrain, strong fuel economy, and solid build quality, this car avoids many of the infotainment and electronics complaints seen in rivals. Consumer Reports notes its consistency and durability, making it a perfect choice for students, city drivers, or anyone who wants a low-stress daily car that just keeps going. Subaru earns its spot with the 2026 Forester, a vehicle that shows how AWD reliability can be done right. Subaru's symmetrical AWD system comes standard, and Consumer Reports notes major improvements in CVT reliability over recent years. With excellent winter capability, light off-road confidence, and a loyal following among outdoorsy drivers, the Forester continues to prove it's more than just a lifestyle brand. Few cars have a reliability legacy as strong as the Toyota Prius, and the 2026 model only strengthens that reputation. Consumer Reports has repeatedly ranked it as one of the most reliable vehicles ever tested. Hybrid battery packs regularly last beyond 200,000 miles, fuel and maintenance costs are extremely low, and the new design adds performance without sacrificing durability. This is a car built for the long haul in every sense. Luxury buyers who plan to keep their car long term should pay close attention to the 2026 Lexus ES 300ER. Consumer Reports consistently ranks it as one of the most reliable luxury sedans available. Its smooth and quiet hybrid system has an incredibly low repair history, making it ideal for buyers who value calm ownership over flashy trends and constant upgrades. One of the biggest surprises on Consumer Reports' list is the 2026 Kia Sportage Hybrid. After years of steady improvement, Kia has dramatically boosted reliability, and the hybrid system further reduces engine strain. Add in one of the strongest warranties in the industry, and this becomes one of the best value hybrid SUVs you can buy, especially for shoppers who want peace of mind without paying premium prices. The 2026 Hyundai Elantra Hybrid continues to prove that affordable doesn't mean unreliable. Consumer Reports gives it strong reliability scores, praising its proven hybrid technology, excellent fuel economy of over 50 mpg combined, and impressive tech offerings at a low price point. For buyers who want efficiency, modern features, and dependable ownership, this car delivers far more than its price suggests. And finally, the 2026 Toyota Highlander Hybrid stands out as one of the most reliable three-row SUVs you can buy today. Consumer Reports highlights its proven hybrid system, which has accumulated millions of real-world miles with excellent durability. It's comfortable, quiet, fuel-efficient for its size, and backed by Toyota's long-standing reputation for long-term ownership satisfaction, making it a go-to choice for families who don't want surprises years down the road. What really makes this Consumer Reports list so powerful isn't just the brand names, it's the pattern that keeps showing up again and again. Proven engines, mature hybrid systems, and manufacturers that resist rushing untested technology into production. These are cars designed to survive real life, not just impress during a short test drive. While other automakers chase massive touchscreens and experimental powertrains, the vehicles on this list focus on longevity, simplicity, and engineering that has already proven itself over hundreds of thousands of miles. Consumer Reports data also shows something important that many buyers overlook. Hybrids, when done right, are often more reliable than traditional gas-only vehicles. Models like the Camry Hybrid, RAV4 Hybrid, Prius, ES300H, and Highlander Hybrid benefit from reduced engine stress, regenerative braking that saves brake components, and powertrains refined over multiple generations. This is why Toyota and Lexus dominate the list so heavily. They didn't just jump into hybrids early, they perfected them over time. Another major takeaway is resale value. Nearly every vehicle on this list holds its value better than the industry average. That means even if you decide to sell or trade in after a few years, you're not taking the massive depreciation hit that plagues many competitors. Consumer Reports consistently finds that reliability and resale go hand in hand, and these cars prove it year after year. It's also worth noting what's missing from this list. You won't see unproven luxury brands, first-generation EV platforms, or aggressively downsized turbo engines pushed to their limits. Consumer Reports is very clear that long-term reliability favors conservative engineering choices, and the vehicles here follow that philosophy almost perfectly. For families, commuters, rideshare drivers, and long-term owners, these cars represent something rare in today's market: confidence. Confidence that your vehicle won't become a financial burden. Confidence that routine maintenance won't turn into major repairs. Confidence that 5 or 10 years from now, your car will still be doing exactly what it was designed to do. As repair costs continue to rise and modern vehicles become more complex, choosing reliability has never been more important. Consumer Reports' 2026 list makes it clear that regret-free ownership isn't about chasing trends. It's about choosing vehicles with a track record of durability, efficiency, and real-world performance that has already been proven again and again. And when you zoom out even further, this list also tells a bigger story about where the auto industry is heading in 2026. Reliability isn't coming from radical experimentation anymore. It's coming from refinement. Automakers that focus on improving what already works are the ones winning Consumer Reports' trust. Toyota, Lexus, Honda, Mazda, Subaru, Hyundai, and Kia have all leaned into this approach, and the results show up clearly in long-term ownership data. Another critical factor Consumer Reports highlights is software software stability. Many newer vehicles across the industry are plagued by glitchy infotainment systems, over-the-air update failures, and screen-dependent controls that create frustration rather than convenience. The vehicles on this list tend to use simpler, more stable systems that prioritize function over flash. That doesn't mean they lack technology. It means the tech actually works reliably year after year. Maintenance costs are another area where these cars quietly dominate. Owners of Corollas, Camrys, Accords, Priuses, and CR-Vs consistently report fewer unexpected repairs compared to the industry average. Parts availability is strong, labor costs are reasonable, and independent mechanics are familiar with these platforms. That combination keeps long-term ownership affordable, especially as vehicles age beyond their warranty period. For buyers worried about electrification, this list sends a clear message. You don't need to go fully electric to future-proof your purchase. Hybrids offer an ideal middle ground, delivering excellent fuel economy without charging infrastructure concerns or battery replacement anxiety. Consumer Reports data shows hybrid systems from Toyota, Lexus, Honda, Hyundai, and Kia aging remarkably well, often outperforming traditional gas models in reliability rankings. Driving experience also plays a role here, even if it's not the headline. Cars like the Mazda CX-5, Mazda 3, Honda Accord, and Lexus ES300EH prove that reliability doesn't have to mean boring. Solid steering feel, quiet cabins, and well-tuned suspensions make these vehicles enjoyable to live with every day, not just dependable transportation appliances. What's especially interesting is how these vehicles appeal to completely different types of buyers while delivering the same core benefit: stress-free ownership. Whether it's a first-time buyer choosing a Mazda 3, a family upgrading to a Highlander hybrid, or a luxury shopper settling into a Lexus RX 300 V4e, the experience is remarkably similar. Fewer warning lights, fewer service visits, and far fewer moments of regret. As the cost of new vehicles continues to climb, choosing a car you can keep long-term becomes even more important. Consumer Reports' 2026 reliability rankings make one thing very clear: the smartest buy isn't always the newest or the most high-tech. It's the one that's been quietly refined, tested, and proven across millions of real-world miles. And that reality is exactly why these 14 vehicles stand out so strongly this year. And this is where many buyers make the biggest mistake. They focus only on monthly payments instead of total ownership cost. Consumer Reports data shows that a cheap car with poor reliability often ends up costing far more than a slightly higher-priced vehicle that simply doesn't break. The cars on this list consistently avoid that trap, saving owners thousands over time through fewer repairs, better fuel efficiency, and higher resale values when it's finally time to move on. Another detail Consumer Reports emphasizes is consistency across model years. These aren't one-hit wonders that scored well once and then disappeared. Vehicles like the Corolla, Prius, Camry Hybrid, RAV4 Hybrid, CR-V Hybrid, and Lexus ES300h have been top performers for years, sometimes decades. That consistency is exactly what long-term buyers should be looking for, because it signals that the manufacturer understands its platform deeply and isn't experimenting on customers. There's also a strong lesson here for buyers overwhelmed by today's massive vehicle choices. Reliability narrows the field quickly. When you strip away marketing hype, flashy design trends, and oversized screens, you're left with the fundamentals: engine durability, transmission quality, electrical stability, and real-world ownership feedback. Consumer Reports builds its rankings on those fundamentals, and that's why this list feels so grounded compared to typical best car awards. For anyone planning to finance a vehicle for 6 or 7 years, reliability becomes even more critical. The last thing you want is to still be making payments on a car that's already becoming a problem. The vehicles on this list are far more likely to still be running strong well beyond the loan term, turning what could be a financial headache into a smart long-term investment. It's also worth noting how well these cars adapt to different driving lifestyles. High-mileage commuters benefit from the fuel savings of hybrids like the Prius and Elantra Hybrid. Families get space and comfort from vehicles like the CR-V Hybrid, RAV4 Hybrid, and Highlander Hybrid. Luxury buyers enjoy quiet, refined rides from the Lexus RX and ES without the typical luxury car repair drama. The versatility is part of why these models continue to dominate Consumer Reports rankings. As the auto market becomes more unpredictable, unpredictable with pricing swings, recalls, and rapid technology shifts, reliability remains the one constant buyers can count on. Consumer Reports' 2026 list reinforces a simple truth that experienced owners already know. The best car isn't the one that impresses you on day one, it's the one that still feels like the right choice years later, after thousands of miles, countless commutes, and real-life use that truly puts a vehicle to the test. And when you start comparing owner satisfaction data alongside reliability, the same vehicles keep rising to the top. Consumer Reports finds that owners of these models report fewer regrets, fewer "I should have bought something else" moments, and a higher likelihood of buying the same brand again. That kind of loyalty doesn't come from advertising, it comes from vehicles that simply do what they promise without drama. Another overlooked advantage of these cars is how forgiving they are as they age. Miss an oil change by a few hundred miles, drive in extreme heat or cold, pile on highway miles year after year. These platforms are engineered with margins that protect them from real-world abuse. That's a major reason why models like the Corolla, Accord, Prius, and Camry Hybrid are so common in high-mileage fleets and rideshare services. Consumer Reports also points out that many of these vehicles benefit from strong dealer and independent repair support. When something does need attention, parts are widely available, technicians know the systems well, and repair times are shorter. That reduces downtime and keeps ownership predictable, which matters just as much as avoiding breakdowns in the first place. There's also an emotional side to reliability that often gets ignored. Driving a car you trust changes the entire ownership experience. You're not constantly listening for strange noises, worrying about warning lights, or budgeting for surprise repairs. That peace of mind is exactly what makes these vehicles so hard to regret, and it's why Consumer Reports places such heavy weight on long-term data instead of short-term impressions. As automakers continue pushing subscription features, complex driver assist systems, and software-dependent controls, the vehicles on this list quietly push back by staying focused on core quality. Yes, they offer modern safety tech and convenience features, but not at the expense of durability. Consumer Reports rankings reward that balance, and buyers benefit directly from it. This list also sends a clear message to shoppers who feel pressured to buy the future right now. You don't have to be a beta tester to own a great car in 2026. The most reliable vehicles today are the ones built on lessons learned over decades, refined through millions of miles, and backed by manufacturers that value long-term trust more than short-term buzz. And that philosophy is exactly what defines every model on this list. And if you pay close attention to how Consumer Reports builds these rankings, you'll notice that owner surveys play a massive role. These are real people reporting real problems, or in many cases, the lack of them. That's why this list carries so much weight compared to sponsored awards or brand-led rankings. It's crowdsourced reality, not marketing promises, and the vehicles here consistently rise above the noise. Another important pattern is how these cars handle mileage over time. Many vehicles start strong, but fall apart after 60,000 or 80,000 miles. The models on this list tend to hit 100,000, 150,000, even 200,000 miles without major drivetrain failures when properly maintained. That long-term durability is exactly what separates a good car from a truly reliable one, and Consumer Reports tracks that distinction very closely. Fuel efficiency also compounds the value of reliability. A car that rarely breaks but guzzles fuel still drains your wallet. That's why hybrids dominate so much of this list. Vehicles like the Prius, Camry Hybrid, RAV4 Hybrid, Elantra Hybrid, and Highlander Hybrid save owners money every single mile they drive. Over years of ownership, that adds up to thousands of dollars that stay in your pocket instead of going to the pump. For buyers planning to keep their vehicle well past the warranty period, this list becomes even more important. Warranty coverage eventually ends, but engineering quality doesn't. Consumer Reports consistently finds that these models maintain lower repair frequencies even after warranties expire, which is the ultimate test of a vehicle's design. Another reason these cars remain regret-free is how well they adapt to changing life needs. A Corolla or Mazda 3 that starts as a commuter car can easily transition into a family backup vehicle. A RAV4 Hybrid or CR-V Hybrid grows with a family. A Lexus RX or Highlander Hybrid continues to feel comfortable and relevant even as expectations rise. That flexibility adds long-term value that many buyers don't realize until years later. As uncertainty continues in the global auto market, reliability becomes a form of financial security. Choosing a vehicle that Consumer Reports has validated through data and time reduces risk in a market filled with unknowns. And that's the real power of this 2026 2026 list. It's not just about what's reliable today, it's about which vehicles are most likely to stay reliable long after the excitement of a new purchase has faded. And one more thing, Consumer Reports quietly reinforces with this list is how important manufacturer culture really is. Brands like Toyota, Lexus, Honda, and Mazda don't just stumble into reliability, they engineer for it. Decisions are made years in advance with long-term durability in mind, not just quarterly sales targets. That mindset shows up in the way these vehicles age, especially compared to competitors that rush redesigns or overload platforms with untested technology. Even brands like Hyundai and Kia, which once struggled with reliability perception, now appear on this list because they've invested heavily in improving quality control and refining their hybrid systems. Consumer Reports data confirms that these improvements aren't theoretical, they're happening in real driveways and service records across the country. That's why models like the Elantra Hybrid and Sportage Hybrid stand out as smart, low-regret purchases in 2026. Another key detail is how predictable these vehicles are to own. Predictability matters. Knowing what maintenance costs look like, how often service is needed, and what common issues might arise gives owners control over their budget. The cars on this list don't surprise their owners very often, and when they do, it's rarely catastrophic. That reliability creates trust, and trust is what turns a vehicle into a long-term companion instead of a constant concern. There's also a reason why many of these models dominate taxi fleets, rental fleets, and high-mileage service roles. Fleet operators track costs obsessively, and they don't choose vehicles based on hype. They choose what survives abuse, minimizes downtime, and delivers consistent performance. Consumer Reports rankings closely mirror those real-world fleet decisions, which further validates this list. As vehicles become more expensive and more complex, regret-free ownership is becoming rarer. That's why this Consumer Reports 2026 reliability list matters so much. It cuts through the confusion and highlights vehicles that have already earned their reputation the hard way, through years of data, millions of miles, and owners who simply don't have much to complain about. And that's ultimately what makes these 14 cars stand apart. Not perfection, but dependability. Not flash, but consistency. Not hype, but proof. These are the vehicles built for people who want to buy once, maintain responsibly, and drive confidently for years without constantly questioning whether they made the right decision. And that confidence extends beyond just mechanical reliability. It shows up in everyday ownership moments that most reviews never talk about. Simple things like doors that still close solidly after years of use, interiors that don't rattle or fall apart, buttons that still respond the way they did on day one. Consumer Reports factors these long-term quality details into its surveys, and the cars on this list consistently outperform the industry average in those areas. Another subtle advantage is how these vehicles handle recalls and updates. No car is completely immune to recalls, but brands that prioritize reliability tend to address issues faster and more effectively. Owners of Toyotas, Hondas, Mazdas, and Lexus models frequently report smoother recall experiences and fewer repeat problems afterward. That responsiveness matters, especially as vehicles become more software-driven. Insurance costs also tend to be lower for many of these models. Reliable cars with strong safety ratings and lower repair severity often cost less to insure, which further reduces total ownership expense. It's another layer of savings that quietly reinforces why these vehicles remain regret-free long after purchase.